Okay, I figured out my key to success. Now I'm locked in. I learned how to open doors like a locksmith.
Welcome back. You're not locked in with DK and Atwood. I'm Atwood, killer to my left. DK on the mats here at the Next Element Academy. It is back open again. Took a week off last week. I think you had some renovations in the other room, right? And
yeah, well, we just had a big we had vacation, yeah. And so usually if we keep the gym open while I'm on vacation, I get calls, texts throughout the day, throughout the week, and I was trying to enjoy my time away.
Gave everybody a paid week off.
Yep, gave everybody a paid week off as well, all our coaching staff and stuff, yeah, man, I got a new fresh outlook on things because we're about to hit 5 years in business on the 10th. So that is our official 5 years open. So I'm pretty stoked about that, and just looking forward to the next 5 years. And I never thought man, it's just crazy, being here after 5 years and stuff like that. But took some time off to kind of reflect on the last 5 years and where we've come from, and what's ahead of us, and what are some bigger and better things that we can do, not only as an academy, but myself as a coach. How can I be a better coach to my students? How can I be a better coach to my coaches? How can I be a better coach to help out my coaches be better coaches. It's like raise them up and give them, how can I be a better coach for our MMA fighters? So a lot of it is just being there. And so, but yeah, it was good to have a week off, man. And Disney World it's like crazy, man. It's like work while you're there.
Yeah. Well, especially when you got a newborn. Well, is this still considered a newborn?
I don't know, man.
I don't know when that changes.
Man, he's a year old, dude. And yeah, he's a toddler, I guess. Year old, and dude is taller than most 2-year-olds. Like, we're taking him around. We were going through Disney World, and if they're 3 and under, you're free. So this lady was like,
a birth certificate?
No, this lady's like, he's under 3, right? And we're like, lady, he just turned a year old. They're like, that's a big baby. Like, yeah, he's huge, man. He's like, my son is they said he's over the 99th percentile.
That's crazy.
Meaning,
man.
out of 100 babies, he is taller than over 99. So I pretty much have all of them his age.
Yeah.
Is
there anybody in your family that's like really tall?
No, man.
What about Megan's?
Megan's grandfather was like 6'4" or something, but that's not like real tall, right? Like,
oh shit.
I mean, that's tall. 6'4" is huge. Yeah. I'm 5'10", 5'11", right? And my dad was like 6 foot 6'1", something like that. But like, he's 99th percentile in his height, 95th in his weight, 75 percentile on his head, even though it looks like he's got a massive head, man. And
he'll grow into it.
He's not fat, but he's just like he's a big kid, man. Like, he's the size of 2-year-olds, dude. He's wearing
hopefully that's a sign of like, well,
good genetics.
Well, if it were me, I'd be like, please make my baby at least 6'2". Like, good genetics, 6'2".
Man.
It could be a shit brick house,
just
man.
A brick shit house, man. Just 240, 6'2", 240 would be a good size to be, right?
Yeah.
Nobody is hurting you.
No.
Or 6'4", 240. I'm thinking about football. You know what I'm saying? But Megan doesn't want him playing football.
Why?
The head injuries, man. But he can fight.
Well,
but I mean, seriously though, man, like the CTE injuries with massive, with a lot of football, especially running backs, linebackers, and linemen as well. It's constantly a 35 miles an hour car crash. Over and over and over.
Make him a quarterback.
Yeah, make him a quarterback, man. It'll just slide into everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it was good, man, to kind of let him do his thing and stuff. And, you know, yeah, it was all the way around. It was a good time.
After our not the last episode, but one of the last episodes we did talking about the law of attraction, I started a vision board, which is something I've been wanting to do.
Very
but
cool.
I finally did it. I was at the radio station and I saw like this cork board, and I was like, "Hey, man." I was talking to Adam. I was like, "Does anybody use that?" And he goes, "No, you can have it." It's like, sweet,
man.
Took it home, started it.
I got stuff out of magazines. I
went to the radio station, just printed off things that I want.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I kept it reasonable. You know, I printed myself a check and I wrote it to myself.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, so I did mine for $100,000.
Awesome.
But I put it at the bottom for a yearly salary and dated it for 2025. So at the end of 2025, I want to have a salary of $100K. But, you know.
Nowadays, that's like normal.
Right. See, I don't care about being rich. I just want to be able to live comfortable. You know what I mean? And when I say comfortable, I mean like not worrying about paying the bills, like be able to pay the bills and put some back.
Yes. Or see, my thing is, I want to be able to go into a store and I don't have to check my bank account.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's a lot of people's goal.
Yep.
And that's that's the only thing I don't really want. I'm like, oh yeah, we'll go get that. Let's go get that. We need a new fridge. Mm-hmm. Right? That would be nice, right? Like we need a new fridge. Oh, yep, I got that.
Yeah.
You know,
that'd
nice.
be dope.
That'd be nice.
And you know, like there's been times
but it's always you got to work up to that.
Right.
Those times.
So I mean, I've had this discussion with you when I've had family, like my grandfather died, I got a bit of, you know, a little inheritance. So there were times where, and I mean, now I could if I wanted to, but I'm also like, don't want to go crazy with it because then it's gone.
Yeah.
And
I just got to put some money away, man. And,
right.
And there's a guy named Dave Ramsey. So that's who Jordan uses all the time. You know, Jordan was real big on his like budget and everything else.
Dude,
right?
I remember he had envelopes for everything,
and that's it's called the Ramsey method.
Oh, maybe that's where I heard of him from.
Yeah. And so what it is you set up an $1,000 savings account for like emergency fund, and you pay minimum credit card bills.
Yeah.
The minimum on all your credit card bills except for your lowest one. Okay. Right? And then you have allotment for groceries for that, gas,
right,
and a fun envelope. So that's what his envelopes were. I think he probably had like 3 envelopes or something like that.
Yeah,
you know. And then so you put away after you saved your $1,000, right? And then you start chipping away at the credit card or bill that you owe the least on. Mm-hmm. You pay the minimums on everything else, and then you just add an extra $50 or $100 to that credit card bill until it's paid off. Once that's paid off, all that money that you were paying on that credit card bill, you add that onto the other credit card bill that you are only paying the minimum on. So that credit card bill, let's say it was $250 a month or whatever that you were paying on that one. Well, this one over here is $300 a month for minimum, so we're going to add that $250 on top of that $300 every month. So now it's $550 you're paying on that one credit card bill, or whatever payment is, and everything else is still in the minimum. Once that gets paid off, then you take all that $850 or $550 that you paid and add it on to the minimum that you were doing to the other. So now you're paying almost $950 a month on a bill or whatnot, right? Do you understand what I'm
you know, I get what you're saying.
So it's like compounding. You take what you were paying and you put it, but what we do as humans, we like, I got an extra $250. I don't have to pay on this credit card anymore. So I'll add 50 to this one. You don't compound all that.
Right.
But if you really want to get all your bills paid down, really, that's what you have to do. So it's taken me a while. Like I'm trying to adopt that same method, but it's like I have to get all my ducks in a row and get my emergency fund set up and everything. And it's like, you know, for the business, I want to have a big emergency fund, and for myself, you know, I want to have a good emergency fund, and for myself plus Megan plus, you know, if anything else happens.
And I think when Jordan started, his emergency fund was $1,000. But as you get older, like
Yeah.
That's not going to cut it.
Let's say you can throw an extra $50 a week to that emergency fund.
Right.
You know, and put in there. And then once you get all your bills paid off, then it says then you start on your investments and start building your wealth from there. So
when he told me about it, we were living together. And at the time, like, I was making shit money, dude. And he's like, yeah, you got to do this and this.
Too,
I was like, Jordan.
Right? He wasn't making
No, he was making decent money. Because that's when, after he started the furniture stuff. So he was making decent money. And he was saying, you got to do this, this, and this. I was like, Jordan, you have to make that amount of money to be able to put it back, bro. Like, I'm not there, all right? Like, right now, I was getting paid, I think, weekly. And I was, you know, basically I was paying half of his mortgage. And, you know, utilities and shit like that. So I was like, dude, I'll talk to me about that in a couple of years. You know, like, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, so I just want to get to that point. Like, and I applied for like a dream job yesterday. We'll see what happens.
Very cool.
So I'm just trying to put it out there. You know
yeah,
what I
man.
mean?
Good things. You think positive, law of attraction, like we were talking about, man. And that dream board is only going to make you visualize things
because I have to look at it every day.
You have to,
and that's another. So I put a house up there, which is in the future, distant future, but you know, like,
it's
still
going to happen
one day, right?
Yeah, like, and you want it to be like it's going to happen. I have a house. I don't have my vision board. I don't know where it went to. I need to make a new one.
Well, if you need a board, there's another one at the station.
All right. But I had a house on the water because that's my dream. I want to be on the water. I want to wake up in the morning. I'll look out like off of my back deck or whatnot, and there's the water, whether it's at a lake, whether it's on the inlet, or whether it's on the ocean, man.
Right.
I want to be as close to the water as I possibly be, and drinking coffee and just being like, man, this is it. I'm here. I'm here now. But once we get there, we always want to go above and beyond, you know? And so I'm reading a book now. It's called The Gap and the Gain, or Gain and the Gap. I can't remember. I'll have to send you a picture of it, but it's by this dude named Dan Sullivan. So if you guys are listening, Gap and Gain, Gap versus Gain. But anyways, the gap is kind of like, if you're in the gap, it's just like all you're talking about is like, oh man, I got to get to this point, this next highest point. Man, once I get there, then I'll be happy. Well, you get there and then you're like, well, let me get to this next thing and then I'll be happy. And then I can rest.
Yeah.
But the gain is setting back. And that's what I did this past week is I like look back and I'm like, well, 5 years ago, bro, like the academy didn't even exist. And I didn't know. I was so stressed out about, is this going to work? Are people going to join? Am I going to be able to pay the rent? Am I going to be able to do this, this, and this, and provide? And then, man, I got to look back. I'm like, wow, we've just come so far. And so that's, you know, looking at the gain that you've experienced over your lifetime and just appreciate, man, I've come so far since whatever moment, you know? And it's just appreciating that, and I'm trying to find more solitude in that instead of always just looking for the next thing to win, you know, because now that I'm not fighting, that's what I got to do is like I'm looking for the next win to make me feel good because I don't have that adrenaline rush of fighting anymore.
Right.
And a lot of times guys as fighters, they lose that fight and then they don't have anything else to do and to put their focus and energy to, and they stop training, they get fat, they get out of shape because they just stop appreciating themselves and where they've been, you know?
Yeah. So the goal, I mean, exactly what you just said, man, it's just the vision board is just to look at it every day and just to be a constant reminder of things that I truly want. And, you know, there's a wide array. Like there's a house, there's a check, there's some places that I want to travel to.
Maybe a car, some type of car.
There's a Tahoe.
Tahoe?
Yeah, which I almost bought a Tahoe, but I didn't want to spend the money on it.
Yeah, eventually it'll come. You know that. All right. Well, you know you can work up to that.
Right. And then there's just other goals. Like there's some jiu-jitsu goals on there. There's, you know, YouTube goals. So yeah, one day it'll happen. Each and every single one of those things will come true. Just wanted to
you
got to
get that book too. Get that Keys to Living.
I need, the only issue with that, man, is I have a hard time sitting still and reading something.
It's so small. It's a small book, dude.
I will tell you this. I will give it a try.
You got to get up early. Get up earlier when there ain't nothing going on. Nothing's going on early in the morning. Let's say 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. Nothing's going on. When I wake up, I'm going to drink my water first, and then I'm going to have my cup of coffee while I'm starting to read my book and gain some knowledge for the day and for the year and month and all that other stuff. You know,
that is something I need to incorporate into my life, but
it's hard, man. I
just
hard.
hate it, dude. I hate sitting still. I don't know if there's some sort of syndrome that I have. Don't know, but I hate sitting still, and like especially if I'm sitting still reading.
Well, when's the last time you picked up a real book though and read it?
Dude. I would say like a book report in school, but all I did for those was read the back of it and then write it. Yeah, I just never read like
really,
that,
man. You should try it. You might find you like it.
Yeah, I mean, I tried reading the Bible.
You can't do that, dude.
Dude,
that's like the worst.
Was so hard.
Like you can't read. Just I'm gonna take up reading.
Man,
well,
I was
here's
in
the Bible,
book of Genesis, and I was going through, and such and such lived to be 900 years old, and his kids were blah blah blah, and they lived to live. And I was like,
no,
can't do it.
You can't do that, man. Yeah, you can't do that, bro.
I do remember reading like Captain Underpants. Those are the only books that I could get through, bro.
I like reading real life stories. So what got me into reading, I never really read when I was younger either. I hated reading. I didn't start reading till in my 20s because a friend of mine started reading a Law of Attraction book. And I was like, well, let me get this book. And I started reading the Law of Attraction, and I started following along, and I was reading the success stories inside the Law of Attraction book about all these different people, and it led me, I was like, to another book called The Secret.
Who was talking? Dude, it's funny you say that. So I was watching a podcast or somebody, and they were talking about that book.
Yeah. The book there's also, it might be on
did they
Netflix.
Make a movie?
They did.
That's what it was then. It was, who was that? I can't remember, but it literally just like yesterday, I want to say I was watching something and they were talking about The Secret.
So I watched that. I have the book.
Sean O'Malley.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So it's the same thing. Law of Attraction, that's The Secret.
Okay.
That's The Secret, is the Law of Attraction is the secret. So you have the book, The Secret. It led me, and the TV show, I started seeing this guy, Jack Canfield. They kept interviewing him on The Secret and different things. And I was like, man, who is this guy? And it led me to Secrets of Success, and which is this thick book with like 40, 50 chapters in it.
God, that makes me cringe.
I started reading it, and it gave me all this other things, like this information, and I took a picture of it and put it on my Facebook that I've had this book for over 10 years. It's traveled. So I used to take it to fights with me, and it give me, I'd read these success stories inside that, and he'd give me little snippets here and there. And like, it's not like, oh, this book, I didn't know any of this stuff, but it's like, it gives you small little pieces of information that can change your whole mindset of how and trajectory of your life.
Right.
Just on hearing somebody else's thought process and how they overcame being a nothing, a nobody, a immigrant, whatever, and then they're making multiple millions of dollars a year, and having their dream life just because their thoughts and their mind, the way they thought about things changed.
Right.
So we watched that, came with the Jack Canfield guide. He's also the same guy that got the Keys to Living the Law of Attraction. He's the same guy that wrote that book too.
Okay.
And he also, Chicken Soup for the Soul, he wrote that one. And so
I do know about that one.
Yeah, so it just led me down a pathway just from The Secret and just finding out about the Law of Attraction, and then the book, The Secret, and the movie and everything. And now my thought process, I'm more optimistic now. I'm not a glasses half empty type of guy anymore.
Right.
Which I was.
I fluctuate back and forth between that attitude.
Yeah.
it's always easier whenever I'm talking to somebody else about, of course, it's always easier to be like, hey, man, think of it this way. And that would be the glass half full.
Yeah.
But when it happens, I'm really bad with receiving the advice that I give. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy for me to help somebody else and try to help them with words or, whatever. But then whenever I'm in that situation, like, sometimes I'll have that inner dialogue in my head where I'm telling myself the same thing. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's not helping,
Yeah.
So I need to get better with that.
Yeah,
maybe I'll read the old secret book. And, speaking of that, it was Sean O'Malley. He was on Errol Hawani's show. Because they were talking about, his career or whatnot, and the fight news that they had announced right before he went on that show. This was the other day, yesterday, maybe the day before. So he's going to be fighting Cheeto again in March.
Cheeto. For
the 135 belt.
Yeah. Cheeto was the only guy that beat him, right?
Yeah. It's his only loss in his career, and it ended like, so what is it, the perennial nerve in the leg? That got kicked, and it just, his leg shut off, and then he ended up losing, I think, to TKO on the ground punches.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a good one that I'm looking
nerve,
forward
man,
to.
you kick it.
Have you ever gotten popped there before?
No, but I've seen Michael Chandler.
Yep.
He got happened to him.
Yeah.
And I saw it in an LFA fight one time. I mean, I thought the dude. I was like, what's wrong
Where
with
is
that,
the
guys?
nerve, like up in here?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so, man. Yeah, I think you kick the outside of the leg, and it just limp leg.
Yeah,
almost.
I mean, I thought, like, before the fight was over when it happened, because, he tried to put weight on his leg, and then his ankle would, like, roll. And I was like, dude, that dude might have fucked his ankle, but it was his nerve the whole time.
Yeah. And you think you're like, dude, his ankle's broken. His foot's broken.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I thought Michael Chandler. I was like, dude, what is going on? But I had seen another fight happen like that, and it was just the dude's.
It seems like such a rare thing. That nerve must be, like, tiny.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
But I'm looking forward to that, man.
Yeah, that would be a cool one.
And I'm a fan of both guys, so that one is like, it's hard for me to call, but especially the way the last one went, because I can't remember what round. That was either the first or second round that his nerve got hit.
Yeah, and then you also got to think of, Cheeto's now. We're talking about the mind stuff, right? That's already one up. He's one up.
Yep, that's very true. And people say his last fight against Moon. I don't know. I'm not going to say it right. I cannot believe I just forgot this dude's name. Anyway, it was kind of like, it was a decision. People thought it was boring. But before that, Cheeto had fought Frankie Edgar, hit him with that. What was just like a teep kick, got him like here, man. It was the same one that Tony got caught with by Michael Chandler.
Yeah,
both great
same
fighters,
one.
dude.
Anderson Silva got Vitor with to make it famous.
Yep.
People weren't doing that before before Anderson Silva.
Yeah,
like, come on, bro.
It just,
like,
I think
and
it's
Lyoto Machida and Anderson Silva throwing that Karate Kid kick, man. The crane kick. That's the crane kick, bro. He's like here and he switched. Boom.
Yeah.
Watch the Karate Kid. That's it.
I've watched it many a times, man. Many a times. I'm very
not
familiar.
The new one.
No, I'm talking about Danielson. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I don't even know who to call. They've both grown so much since that. I mean, it was like 3 years ago. So I don't even know who to call on that fight.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good fight.
Looking forward to that. They also announced in February it's Volk versus Ilia Topuria for the featherweight belt. Ilia's on the rise. I mean, you were watching some of his fights before we started.
He's a savage, dude.
Yeah.
And his right hand is serious, man.
Yep.
And I like the way he drops, boom, he cranks that left hook to the body, man, and then he sets that right hand over the top up.
Mm-hmm.
He's just here, the way he kind of moves, there's your boom,
yeah.
And then you're out. Cold.
I mean, Ryan Hall, great grappler. Bryce Mitchell, great grappler.
Yeah.
Handled both of them. Submitted Bryce.
I mean, come on, dude.
Didn't expect that.
Yeah.
And then Volk just coming off of the loss he just took to Islam at 155 for that belt. Yeah. Got caught with a head kick, dude. I mean, it went right over his hand and just clipped him right on the top of the temple, man. Yep. That's it.
Skipped right off the top of his head, man.
Yep.
And who happened to a while back.
Well, Stephen Thompson did the same thing to somebody else.
Yeah.
I forget that guy's name.
Crow Cop did it to Anderson Silva back in. I mean, not Anderson Silva, Vanderlei Silva back in the Pride days.
That was Crow Cop's thing. He was known for his kicks.
He's going
man.
for the head, man.
Yep.
And he'd skip that thing right off of Vanderlei's head. And
what a life that guy had. Crow Cop, like fighter in the UFC, but he was also like a SWAT commander. Or
SWAT commander, and then he was in the. He was actually part of their government, I think.
Really?
Yeah, he was like high up in the Croatian government.
That reminds me of the who are the boxers in Ukraine? The Klitschko brothers?
Yes. And now they're like in the military now, and like a general or some shit. They're like officers in the military. But like, come on, bro. Like, you won't say a word to those guys. You're like, yes, sir, no. I'm going.
I'll say it under my breath.
Yeah.
Or on the internet.
Freaking right hand you to next year.
And then another fight that they just announced for January 20th. This is the only one that has a place. It's going to be in Toronto, UFC 297. Strickland versus Duplessis for the middleweight belt. Yeah. I like this fight. I like Strickland and I like Duplessis. The only thing I'm worried about is it seems like Duplessis gets like gassed pretty early.
And Strickland doesn't.
And he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
he's a little crazy.
Strickland gets hit.
Yeah,
you know?
But he's not all
heavy
there.
Hands.
Strickland's not all there, man. Like all his interviews,
that's what I love about
you can see, you can tell. Like, it's like he was on the Brendan Schaub, like they were doing the food thing. Yeah, the taco stand. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd be. Hey, bro, you can't say that.
So at first I thought it was just like kind of like a Colby Covington kind of move, you know, where it's a character, but he's really like
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, he's
like
done it to everybody.
Yeah, man.
He did an interview with a Chinese reporter, and she's talking about something. He's like, yeah, but and he starts talking about sweatshops. And I'm just like, damn, like this dude doesn't care. And dude, he went to Australia to fight
and talk shit about all the Australians.
But they loved him. Australia gave him like a standing ovation when he walks out. They were booing Izzy. Isn't that nuts? They boo Izzy, the hometown guy, and they're like cheering for. It's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, those are three good fights to look forward to. And considering the end of the year fights, which are usually like the best ones besides like International Fight Week, kind of fell off with like the John Jones thing. Man, I'm looking forward to the beginning of next year with fights.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. We got Austin's fighting December 8th. Got an amateur fighting December 8th in Atlanta, and then we got
Austin's fighting Amy still.
No, we got an amateur.
Oh, that's Josh, right? Okay, gotcha.
Josh is fighting.
Yeah,
Austin's fighting pro, obviously, and then Josh is fighting advanced amateur rules. So in Georgia, amateur rules is shin guards and like no ground and pound.
Oh, see, that's semi-Miami here.
Yeah, and so in Georgia, so the kid he's fighting has more than 3 fights, so they do it. And Josh is 3-1, so he can do advanced amateur.
Right on. So so you're just losing the shin guards. You can do ground and pound. Obviously, no elbows in Georgia.
Yeah, no elbows, no knees to the head, and I don't think any kicks to the head either.
Oh, okay. You can do that in South Carolina.
Yeah, that's why South Carolina's it's not bad, man. The only other places is Mississippi. You can do elbows, knees to the head, kicks to the head.
Amateur.
Yes, and Virginia used to be that way too. I don't because I know Josh, that was his first amateur fight. Was in Virginia, and he got to throw elbows.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, those are great fights to look forward to as well. And you also mentioned Jay-Z's accepted another fight, so hopefully he can end this year with another dub and keep everything rolling, man. It's exciting to watch. Again, today you guys were sparring in here, and it's cool to sit back and kind of observe it, and then observing them and like coaching them through things. You know, it was cool to watch. It was
man.
Devon,
yeah,
he was in here today with Austin, and they were getting some work in. And I mean, you were even jumping in there too and getting some work in. So
yeah, my neck is still jacked up, bro. So it's slowly getting better, but it's probably not now. So I'm just gonna train, man.
You're a holistic dude. You need to get those forks.
Huh?
Those forks.
What are those?
I mean, it's something that has to do with like frequencies can heal people and just ding.
Ding. Yes. Yeah. No, I need to actually have a TENS unit. I need to get that thing on my neck and get it hooked up. But I got some CBD on it right now.
Right on. Going back to the fight game real quick. Ariel Helwani and Chael Sonnen were talking about Francis Ngannou's performance and his pay, and they got into a bit of a heated, I guess, debate. And Jorge Masvidal was on Helwani's show the other day talking about how he just beat the Colby Covington case. He found Colby at a steakhouse almost a year ago or something like that in Miami, ran up on him, punched him a couple times, knocked a tooth out, fucked up his $90,000 Rolex. So
and Colby sued him, right? I
don't know if he sued him, but he just pressed charges. I mean, dude, there was a chance that Jorge, now, granted, the guy's a celebrity and a multi-millionaire, but there was a chance that he was going to have to do some prison time, but he got off of all that. Then the day after, he goes on Ariel Helwani's show, just beats the case and starts threatening Colby again. It's like, when I see you, it's on site, la, 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 la. I was like, dude, now if something ever happens again, the judge is going to throw the book at you. Like, you shouldn't have done that. That was pretty stupid.
But, hey, you got to think of where he's coming from. Masvidal, like, a lot of these new people don't know Masvidal was, before bare knuckle boxing was anything, it was Kimbo Slice doing videos, backyard bare knuckle boxing on, and Masvidal was part of that crew. Like, he was part of Kimbo's little crew. They went around and they bare knuckle boxed
backyards, man.
Guys similar to his size.
Yeah.
Because back then Masvidal was like 200 and something pounds, man.
Damn, was he?
Yes, he was a big dude, man. He was chubby. He was like, he was just jacked. He was a bigger dude. You got to think now he fights at 170. So it's like when he wasn't training, like he came up, bare knuckle boxing. And then he started training with ATT and Jay-Z Cavalcante and different people like that, man. And, he's been fighting for a long time, man.
He has.
20 plus years that guy's been fighting. Since bare knuckle boxing, that guy's been fighting over bare knuckle boxing. I say bare knuckle, like, because you're in a backyard and it's just that other person gives up.
Yep.
Right? If they can't, they get up, then you keep going. Boom, boom, boom. Or they go down and they just give up, man. That was some wild stuff. So if you guys get a chance, look up Masvidal bare knuckle street fighting. It's
some interesting stuff, dude.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it got brought up, but him and Ariel started talking about Chael, and so he goes off on Chael, and
so now they're going to try to fight, right? Or they're going.
I doubt they will, but they were definitely.
Could you imagine they do the game bred bare knuckle MMA?
I don't think Jorge would do it. I don't think Chael would do it either. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think Jorge would. He mentioned that he wants to fight again, but he doesn't. He's like, I'm definitely not doing anything bare knuckle, but I might do some like karate stuff or taekwondo stuff. The only thing I can think of
because he's not going to fight
in combat.
Yeah, that karate.
But he did mention that if the price was right, he'd go back to the UFC.
And karate combat's already been done before.
Yeah, well, they're doing it now.
It was done by Chuck Norris back in the day.
Oh yeah,
back in the early 2000s, Chuck Norris had it was a ring, a very slant, and you only get
same thing they do now.
Okay, yeah, and you only get like 2-minute rounds or whatever, and it's nonstop action.
Yep,
you can only throw so many kicks to the legs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you have to throw not so many kicks. You have to throw a combination before you kick the legs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can't just kick the legs.
Huh. I didn't know that was one of the rules.
What was it? It was called Oh man, now I've forgotten the name of it. But it was but it was all karate guys and kickboxer guys. Yeah. There were some MMA guys that tried to do it and they just get fucked up. by karate guys.
I can imagine.
Stephen Thompson was on there.
Yep.
He was.
Raymond Daniels does it now.
Well, they were on that Chuck Norris thing.
Okay, got you. So
damn,
Stephen must have been young.
Yeah, dude.
Well,
I mean, he's my age,
that,
bro. So he was in his 20s.
Yeah.
Steven's older than me, so yeah, he was in his 20s.
I don't know, man. I think if it came down to a street fight, and people probably won't agree with me on this, but I think Chael gets him.
Man, I don't know, dude. I mean,
I think
you got it. Yeah, if he closes the distance, he's able to take him down.
Remember when Chael went at it with like 3 dudes in Las Vegas?
Another thing you have to think of, Chael's like 45, 50, almost 50 years old,
Probably.
maybe.
Something like that.
Because he's in the same age as like Dan Henderson and Randy Couture. He's around in there. I think he's a little bit younger. And Masvidal's like in his 30s.
Yeah, but I mean, granted, who knows that the 3 dudes had training, but it was 3 different dudes that he fucking trashed before the cops got a hold of him.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
yeah.
I'm going to have to call you back in a minute, Dad. I felt the floor vibrating. But one of the greatest things of Chael Sonnen, man, is that dude's banter.
Yeah,
because he went all. I mean, after all, he's the man of the hour.
He's a good talker.
Too sweet to be sour. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll never forget that speech. What you see is what you get. What you don't is better yet, or something like that.
Yeah, he's a talker. I wonder how often how much he.
Did he practice that shit in the mirror?
Yeah.
The women's pick and the man's regret, or something. That's great.
Gosh, he's trying to be Ric Flair.
But so Chael started like going at him on Twitter, and he said like 12 tweets back to back, but I just picked a couple. He said he'd whoop his ass. Hold on, wait a second. Oh, okay, sorry. He tweeted, Jorge, if you want to scrap, you'll have to beat one of my students first. Colby Cove, ... Scratch that. Let's stick to things that are possible. And one of the things he said, too, is, are you allowed to kick the leg that's wearing the house arrest ankle monitor? Oh. Did you go to a Miami car shop to have them pull the dent Kamaru Usman put in your face out? Then he calls him Toothface and said, the next time you fight, you'll have 4 black eyes instead of the usual 2.
Oh, man.
It's great, dude. I love Chael Sonnen, bro.
He talks mad shit.
He does.
Everybody,
I love him.
Yeah.
And even though he was, he juiced like a motherfucker back in the day. I don't. First of all, a lot of people were juicing, but second of all, like, he owns it. He's like, oh yeah, I was fucking juicing. He's like, if you need me, help and tips on how to mask that avoid or get around USADA, let me know. I think he's great.
He's probably doing the Wizinator. The fake wiener.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
he was definitely doing the Wizinator.
But I think he takes Jorge in a street fight. I really do.
We agree to disagree.
Yeah, no, that's great. By the way, I'm no longer reffing fights, so I can. Oh
man,
I can predict these things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
good.
I still do work with the commission, but
so
nothing like that, so I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Well, that's good. Atwood was reffing, and now he's giving it all up for the podcast.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing, too, man. Like, a lot of people might not agree, but in terms of reffing, South Carolina is one of the best states. Like, the refs we have here are really good, and they're experienced, right? So
they come back often.
Right. And me just starting, it's hard
to get some.
Yeah. Like, I just worked at Derek Brunson's promotion last weekend, and I mean, I didn't ref or anything. I was just timekeeping, but that was the first time I had gotten any work in like 8 or 9 months.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, I'm not going to put something on hold, and be able to do videography and stuff for fighters and the podcast with other fighters and stuff, because technically I'm not supposed to do that.
Wow. And
I'm not going to not do that over something where I'm not even really getting work in. You know what I mean? But I wanted to leave on good terms. I did. So that's cool. They're still going to allow me to do some work for them and just, collect some extra money every now and then. And there's no conflict of interest involved.
Very good.
So I figured that was just the best thing to do for me. And I put too much money and time into this to be like, I'm just not going to do it anymore. Like, fuck that, dude. I enjoy doing this. So
good. Well, I enjoy it too.
And all the other shit too, that we're trying to get into. So yeah, I think the whole plan for this pod was just to talk about, you know, the upcoming fights and stuff, but we actually covered a lot more.
Yeah, we covered a lot of stuff,
than that.
man.
And also, like, and one of the reasons I brought up the vision board is because I want people in you to hold me accountable to those things, right? Like, one thing I was telling Jeremiah when we were filming the embedded thing, I was like, dude, the camera will hold you accountable. It will keep you honest with yourself, right? Because it's not just something that's happened behind closed doors. Everybody's watching it, right? So I want to be held accountable for the things that I put out there in terms of, you know.
And that's what's the magic about it too.
Yeah.
Is like when you tell people about it too, that's also building more the law of attraction. That's building more on the side of the law of attraction, of it happening already. You speaking it into existence is already giving it kind of a willpower to start the ball of,
right,
you know, moving forward in that direction,
Yep.
right? If you're not telling somebody, but you're only telling yourself in your head, I don't think that's going to happen, so I'm just not going to tell nobody. No, I tell people all kinds of stuff, man. I'll be like, we're going to have like a big giant facility. We're going to have a recovery center. We're going to have all this other stuff. You know, we're going to have a functional fitness center. We're going to have all that stuff one day.
Yeah.
You know?
You told me that before.
Yeah. And it's going to happen, man. It's a slow process, but eventually people are going to be like, wow, you told me this exact same thing. I have guys that message me when I was in the military. I'm like, yeah, I want a gym. I want to have 2 separate, you know, mat areas and stuff so I can have 2 classes going on at the same time. I want to have a kickbox. You know, I've told all my military, and they're like, dude, I remember you talking about this, teaching, you know, combatives. And, you know, I'm like, man, one day I'm going to have my own spot.
And building a business is a lot like what we're trying to do with this channel, right?
For sure.
It's a slow grind, and there might be times where like
it bumps and ticks and goes up, and then
and goes
gain
down.
some interest here and there, and
So I think a goal that, as far as the podcast is concerned, for me, by the time we get to the point of a year, I just want to have 1,000 subs. So right now, this is our 31st episode. We have a little over 300 subs. So we've basically gained, 100 subs every 10 episodes. But by the time we get to a year old, which I don't even know when that is, dude. I think it's like March or April.
It's coming
maybe.
up.
Yeah.
It's coming soon,
I want to be
man.
to 1,000. And
that's a good goal, man. You know, it's good.
I think it's
modest.
realistic.
It's realistic. It's within reach. It's not too high, because then after you get 1,000, then the next thing is, all right, well, 3,000.
Yeah.
5,000.
Right.
8,000.
And I wanted to be very
10,000.
careful with my goals too. I wanted them to be realistic.
Yeah. Measurable, attainable.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Those
then
are
even
all
some
things
that
that
I
you have
knew
to,
that I'll get in the next couple of months, whether I'm already planning it or something, because that to me is like a little mental trick for
Absolutely.
myself. It's like,
Yep.
all right, well, I made this goal, got it. It's like when you wake up in the morning and you make your bed, like you've completed your first task of the day. Yeah. I forget, there was some general
it's an
or something.
admiral. Yeah, he's a Navy
yeah.
admiral. I think it's Michael something, but it's got make your bed. Megan's actually reading this book.
Yeah.
It's talks about making your bed at the first beginning
And
of the
it's
day.
just like a mental placebo
Yeah.
for yourself. So yeah, I'm getting all that started, man. And I wanted to mention it today to hold myself accountable. I know my girlfriend will watch this, and she does a great job of holding me accountable. So she'll
That's what
definitely
you need, man. Megan's the same way. You know? Yeah.
It's good women, man.
Yeah.
Good women will make a man. And it's my first girlfriend I've ever had.
Hey.
So,
Good thing.
Hell
Good
yeah,
thing you
right?
found that
Like, how
the first
lucky am
time.
I?
Yes, right?
But anyways, man, yeah, you want to take us out?
Yeah, man. Hey, thank you guys so much for, watching, taking the time out to watch. I appreciate you. Atwood, appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Please
Appreciate
like,
you.
comment, share, subscribe. Do all the things, please, that'll help us grow this podcast so we can eventually get to 1,000. We can't get to 1,000 without you, the people that watch, and just share the podcast to other people. And, it's amazing. I enjoy it. I love talking about, martial arts and, life and the you know, life journeys and, you know, law of attraction and all that stuff, motivation stuff. I like it all. And it's, you know, what drives me and fuels me. So thank you guys.
Yeah. What he said. I had something I was going to say, but I lost it. So
yeah,
we'll
brain fart
there.
right there.
Until next time.
Thank you guys. Out.